Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. So you remember that yesterday we worked on combining pairs. And you can see our chart from yesterday. Let's begin our lesson by doing a counting by twos exercise. So on my computer, you can see that I have some numbers that are normal type and others that are bold and underlined. What we're going to do is we're going to count, but every time we come to a number that's bold and underlined, we're going to whisper count that. So let's try counting together. We'll take it real slow. So normal voice, whisper count. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. All right, now that we've completed that exercise, I want us to put our thinking caps on and think. What pattern did you see as I counted? What was going on? Some of you may have noticed that every other number was bold and underlined. Other ones may have said, you know what, Mrs. M? I see that the even numbers, or numbers that can make pairs, are bold and underlined. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to work on the California State Standard of being able to find patterns to add and subtract by completing the following objective. So repeat after me. I will use patterns to explore many-to-one relationships. Now let's take a look at the word patterns. Can we say patterns together? Patterns. Patterns is something that is repeated. For example, in this picture, you can see that the triangle starts big, goes medium, then small. And the same thing's happening for the square and the circle. Additionally, you see patterns on our chart, such as we're counting by ones. You see on this one, the chart here, we're going up by twos. And once again, we're going up by twos in the drawings on the bottom. Our job today, though, is that we want to find a relationship between more than two on a many-to-one relationship. And how we're going to do that is through the following. So bear with me as I flip our chart over. And here we go, many-to-one relationships. So let's take a peek. So here are my steps. So number one, I need to make a chart because that's going to help me organize my information. Number two, I need to find what you already know about the problem. Like, how do we know how many fingers a hand has or how many toes are on a foot? And finally, number three, we're going to use that known pattern to solve the problem. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to first model a many-to-one relationship for doing our steps. Your job is to listen very carefully with your eyes and ears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the following problem. And it says, how many hands do 9 students have? So I know I'm looking for a comparison problem again. So in order to solve this, I'm going to first use paper because I really like using the paper because it helps me put my ideas down. So let me trade off. Okay, so I know from step number one that I need to make a chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw a line. And then I'm going to draw another line going down. Now, you remember from my problem, I'm finding how many hands to students. So I'm going to label my chart. I'm going to say student. So that way I know I'm referring to the number of students here. And then on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put hands. Whoops. Hands. All right, now that I have student and hands, I know I can sort my data. So I am ready for step number 2, which means I need to find what I already know about this problem. So typically speaking, one person, so I'm going to put a 1 here. One person has 2 hands. So I see my relationship is a 1 to 2. One student is to 2 hands. Now I can keep going. So let's say I want to do 2 students. So I'm going to put 2 here. I know that 2 students, if this is a 1 to 2 relationship, I know if I have 2 people lined up, I would have 4 hands. So 4. And I can even prove that by doing a little drawing off to the side. So here's my 1 person. And these are their hands. I'm just going to do circles for simplicity. So that's 1 person. Here is 2 people. 1 person, 2 person. Now, looking at our pattern, you see there's a growth. I'm going to put 3 down. I want you to think and type in on the side, how many hands might 3 people have? Once again, I can use my drawing, or I can use my knowledge of counting by 2s to say 2, 4, 6. Now I'll draw this out. So let's do my 1 person. 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, because for each person has 2 hands. 3, 1, 2. And if I count all my hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I see I have 6 hands. So we definitely are starting to see a pattern, which is going to lead us to step number 3, which is use the pattern to solve the problem. So if I know I'm counting by 2s, because we're seeing this is going up by 2s, and this is going up by 1s, I can easily figure out how many hands 9 students have. So help me out. So I know what comes after 3 is 4, and then 2, 4, 6, 8. Then 5, 10. Because remember, I'm counting by 2s. 6, 12. 7, 14. 8, 16. Almost there. So now, if I know that 8 is 16, once again, put on those thinking caps. How many hands are 9 students going to have? It should be 18. So what you guys saw me do was I followed our 3 many-to-1 relationship steps. Meaning, first, I made a chart to organize my information. Number 2, I found out what I already knew about the problem. And finally, number 3, I used the pattern that I observed to solve the problem. Now, we're going to try one together. So here's how we are going to do this. So you have a document in your Google Classroom. But before we go to that document, let's take a look at the problem we're going to solve. So here's our guided practice. How many fingers are on 4 hands? So we want to know how many fingers are on 4 hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit escape, and we're going to go to your classroom right here. And in your classroom, you can see I put a worksheet. We're going to click on that worksheet. And this is where you're going to record your answer. And look, there's our question. How many fingers are there on 4 hands? And when I click on here, this will act as a text box, meaning I can type my numbers just like you saw me do. So this is my chart, and you can see our chart together is labeled hands to fingers, because we're trying to find out how many fingers. So now we are ready for step 2. And we need to find what we already know about the problem. So putting on those caps again, how many fingers are generally on one hand? When you have that, type it in. That's right. When I look at my hand, I see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in 5, because that is the number. Oops, sorry, my bad. We have one hand, right? One hand has, we go here, generally has 5 fingers. So I'm going to hit enter so I can go down, and then I'm going to put my 5 here. So you can see there's a relationship already. One hand is to 5 fingers. Now, what about 2 hands? I'm going to go down again. So I'm going to put my 2 here, because now I want to find what 2 hands have. So I have my 2. And we can even look at our own hands if we're unsure. So type in, how many fingers are on 2 hands? That's right, 10. This is starting to look a little familiar, meaning it looks like we're counting by 5s, just like when we practice telling time. So let's see if that's true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down again, and I know, so let's think about 3 hands. So I know we're going to go with 10, but we need to add one more hand. So I can go on over to my worksheet here, and I know that 10 plus 5 equals 15. Because of that, we're going to go here, and I can do 15. Now, if I count by 5s, I can probably figure this out very fast. So pretend we're telling time with our clock in class. So we got 5, 10, 15, so therefore 4 hands must have what? That's right, 4 hands will have 20 fingers. So what I'll do is I'll type my 4, and then we'll go down here, and I'll type my 20. And that's how I did step 3, was I used a pattern to solve the problem. Now, here is your task, and it's a little more challenging. Your task is you're going to complete our 3 steps of many-to-one relationships by making a chart, or in our case, filling in the chart, finding what you already know about the problem, and then you're going to use the pattern to solve the problem. And how you're going to do this is you and your family are going to complete the how many eyes are there in a group of 5 people problem right below. And then I'm going to go back to Google Classroom right here. We're going to scroll down. You're then going to see if you can do the same thing with our independent practice sheet, which is how many eyes are there in a group of 10 people? Prove your work. How many fingers are there on 8 hands? Show your work. Now you can always do like I did in our beginning problem, do it on paper first and then type in your numbers. I find that's a lot easier. So once again, you're going to finish the problem right here with the eyes on the same sheet that we just did. And it's called Unit 7, Lesson 1.2 worksheet. And then you're going to do our independent math practice sheet. You all did a very nice job watching me find our many-to-one relationships. You guys may be wondering, Mrs. M, why should I know how to solve this? Being able to solve many-to-one relationships not only helps us count a large amount of items, such as marbles in a jar, faster, but it will help you solve addition and subtraction problems faster and find patterns to work on division and multiplication when you are in the upper grades. All right, thank you so much for watching our online video. See you later.